as you can see, there's not a hell of a lot left. We're left with bare block and all its internals. Got the heads off, got the timing case off, got the cam gear off. I'm actually just waiting on the heads at the moment. I've got the camshaft to put in, which I'll show you. I'll put in a second. Yeah, I've basically got everything apart that I need to. I've cleaned everything. With an LS1, like a lot of the earlier V8s, you could actually get the camshaft out just by pulling the intake manifold off, because you could actually get to the lifters. Now on these, we have the lifters sitting underneath the heads, so what I've had to do previously, I pulled the lifters out and pushed them into these guides that they have here. Now these guides basically just to hold the lifter straight, so what I do, I pull them out, I push it right into the guide, put the lifter guides and lifters back in, so now that when I pull the camshaft out, the lifters are free of the camshaft and unable to fall back into the block, which is not pleasant if they do fall in, because then you start pulling engines apart. So we'll get this camshaft out nice and gently. Okay, now I say gently because these camshafts all have sharp edges, and the edge of each lobe is sharp, and we have 5 bearings in there that you've got to be very careful not to put a big gouge in. Now I've seen it before where someone gouges a cam bearing, okay, and you start losing oil pressure. Now if you start losing oil pressure, you know, it can be fatal to an engine. All right, get the new camshaft in. Now what I've done, I've applied a bit of assembly lube to each of the bearing journals, so that when I go slot this camshaft in, it's well lubricated before it starts. Now the reason for this is, you know, on first start you don't want anything dry moving around in your engine. You want to have some sort of lube. And it's basically just a safeguard, making sure that the bearings will be right on first startup. All right, and that's that, like a glove. Now the original camshafts out of these VEs are a single bolt that holds them in with a dowel. Now you'll notice here we have the 3 bolts in a LS1 camshaft with a dowel. Now we use these because there's a lot more cams available with this bolt pattern, and all we do is change the front gear to what's known as an LS7 cam gear. Has everything that the standard cam gear has, and bolts up to the LS1 camshaft. The factory camshafts are actually designed for emissions. Okay, they basically what's coming out the exhaust is what they're concerned with, and making, you know, as much power as they can with the least amount of emissions. Now these camshafts that we put in here are probably, you know, 15% larger in duration than the factory camshafts. They still sit in with factory pistons, and, you know, yes, obviously we do heads and get them all to flow a lot better than the factory heads. All right, let's get these tight and go looking for these heads. Hopefully Ian's come through with the heads. Where are my heads?
I don't know, we don't have any.
Can you get them?
Make it up. Pour them yourself.
Are they ready?
They're not ready.
Come on, mate.
No, tell someone who cares. I've got enough work to do.
All right, I'll get
Don't
it
give me
in.
one of those forms.
Can't find Ian. I need these heads. It's time to step it up a notch. Hey Rob, busy?
Rob's not here, mate. This one is
You busy?
Busy? I'm always busy.
Nah, come on, I really need a hand. I can't find Ian. And this car's got to go out tonight and I need some heads from Nathan.
What, on the jury hour, am I?
I need it, well, everyone else is flat out and Ian's disappeared.
Well, Tracy wants me to do the wages, so that means you're not going to get paid this week. So.
Well, look, we're going to wait another hour for wages.
Alright. Crikey. What do I boil these people for? Explain that to me again. Alright.
Alright.
Hurry up. Get on with
Thanks.
what you need to do. Nathan, where's my heads? Georgie's busting my balls.
They're over there, but check this out first.
No, listen to your machine. Yeah, Georgie can wait. I want to look at this. So, how do you start? Obviously, when you normally port your head, you're going to have a specific design that you've come up with that works. How do you then translate that into a head that you're going to produce on the CNC machine?
Yeah, well, first, yeah, like you're right. We do a test port first, either on the flow bench or use a head on an engine dyno,
Yep.
depending on who I'm doing it for. And then we bring it to the machine, and yeah, it's got its own wrench or digitising equipment in this machine. We set the machine up with the cylinder head in the fixtures, and we pick up a few points, like points of the insert. Say across the short turn, we pick up a couple of points, and then at the manifold side, we pick up a couple of points, and then we go into the computer program and tell it what sort of port it is, what we want to do with it, and then it will sort of automatically probe the port, and then we come up with a surface where we've got to create a surface and modify a surface, and eventually you come up with what you want.
What's the time frame difference between what you would take to do a hand-ported set of heads to what this machine will replicate the same thing?
Well, if I have a program for that particular head, you know, I can turn them around in a day.
Yeah, so
On the machine.
obviously it speeds things up, but you've got to put the effort into digitising it and investing in the piece of equipment, obviously, to do it. I mean, how many companies would have a machine like this in Australia?
Oh, there'd be only 5 shops, probably.
Okay, so it's pretty state of the art.
Yeah.
And this machine only does the porting, doesn't it? It doesn't do any seat cutting or facing of the cylinder head or anything like that. It's purely just doing the porting.
Only for cylinder heads alone.
Yeah, so
Like you can only do cylinder heads on it. So for a shop like myself, it's fantastic.
yeah, so obviously, yeah, where you're a one-man band sort of thing, and you can increase your productivity and become more accurate. I suppose that's one of the big things with this, like a CNC, would be that you can repeat your accuracy. So between one cylinder head and the next 10 that you do, they're going to be all the same. Whereas obviously doing them by hand, I know that you're obviously experienced at what you do, but still there's got to be some, human.
Oh, there's always going to be human error, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's massive. Like when I was hand porting, I thought, oh yeah, I'm pretty good at this. I could, you're getting pretty close. But when you get a machine like this, this works within, under 1,000. Every port's within, under 1,000.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, the accuracy of the machine. Yeah, like this, like having a machine like this is like obviously state of the art stuff, and
Yep.
and it's been a big benefit so far. And I've only had it for 6 months.
Yeah.
Like over hand porting, I would never ever go back to hand porting.
Really? So
even though I enjoyed it.
yeah. So really, now that you've got this machine, that's eliminated all your hand porting.
Oh, all of it, yeah.
So everything you now do is on this machine.
Yeah. Unless I'm going to get a one-off head that needs its own special jig, and I'm only going to do one of them maybe in every 10 years or something. Then I'll probably hand port it. But
fair enough. Wow. Well, that's impressive, isn't it? And what's this over here? You've been spending more money. Bought another machine.
yeah, it's a new valve facer I've just purchased with. I got it with the CNC machine.
Yep.
It's a centerless valve grinding machine.
Yep.
where it's a lot more accurate and precise than the old style machines where they, like if you see here, it's got rollers in it.
Okay.
The old style machines have chucks and ball bearings, which like over time will wear out and aren't as accurate, where this one was machined within hundredths of a thou, and it's all fully digitised. You know, and I also, it goes to 10 degrees to 60 degrees, which the later heads now, especially the big block heads, are going.
So this is for actually facing the valve.
Yep.
So you got a valve.
Yeah, it does the 45 or 50 if you want to run a 50, and then it'll do back cuts.
Yeah,
so it's solely
because that all affects flow, doesn't it? The way the angle of the valve.
We change back angles depending on the head shape, the port shape, and where we want the flow to come in and out.
Yeah, okay.
And then this is, you know, obviously the 45 or 50 degree has to be concentric to the valve stem, so it will run up the guide perfect.
Yep.
You know, or seat on the seat.
Seat on the seat and seal the cylinder.
Yeah.
So obviously this is a hell of a lot more accurate than an older style machine.
Yeah, this is one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a good thing I bought.
So again, where's this made? Is this an American?
American, yep.
Yeah, okay. Cool, wow. Stepping up in the world, Nathan.
Higgins Race Developments. For myself, 8 years now, 9 years. I did an apprenticeship back in Tasmania for a guy called John Brookfield, and then moved to Melbourne in 1992 to Larry Perkins and worked there to the year 2000. Oh, it had up and downs. Yeah, it's great. Like when you're that age, it's great. Like young kid going around Australia with the race cars, it's great fun, and you do learn a lot. Well, the benefit for them is, well, there's a few benefits. First of all, we've got to find out what application they want out of their engine or out of their car. So, like, let's go away from the top end stuff and it's like, say, like an LS1 street car. Well, you know, you're generally going to make 500, 550 horsepower out of something like that, depending on, you know, what it is. The big thing with the LS1 is to get the airspeed up, so they've got a lot of acceleration down low. So we try not to increase the port volume, but we lift the CFM, the flow up, and when we do that, we get the airspeed like comes right up, and then that normally will give you a lot of acceleration. You know, let's say between 2 and 5,000 RPM. You know, like that's more street and strip type style. Whereas, and then I always make sure it's got a very good exhaust port on the LS1 because it has a full exhaust system on it. It's not like a drag car where it's only got a straight out header. So I pay a lot of attention to the exhaust port. And then the other benefits are you can lift the compression ratio up, which gives you a lot of acceleration when you've got, from let's say 10.3 to 11 to 1. That brings a lot of acceleration to the car and obviously horsepower as well. Well, I'll only go to an aftermarket head if we're going to build like a 427, like a race engine type thing. Well, not a street and strip, like serious street engine drag race or track race. The standard heads are very, very good for what they are, and most cases, the street cars don't need them. Like you're going to spend $2,500 for a casting that you don't need to, and then once you get that $2,500 casting, it then needs porting anyway. So we've done the dyno testing to prove that a well-ported LS1 head, L98 head, will make the same amount of power as all the aftermarket heads, unless you're getting really serious and want to make 600 horsepower. which most street cars are only, 500 horsepower, 550. I brought that brand new in 2003, drove it around for a few years, slowly started getting into the drag racing scene, started at 12s, went to 11s, went to 10s, and then went to 9s, and it all got too hard to be a road car, so it's now a permanent fixture on my hoist. Yeah, it's the fastest Commodore fastest NA Commodore in the country. It was the first into the 9s, it was the first into the 10s for a 346. Yeah, it's been like a test mule for me. I started life as head and cam 346, 400 cuber I had in it at one stage, now it's got a 427 in it. Hasn't stopped yet. I'm trying to run an 8, so 9003 at 152. Made 900 horsepower on the engine dyno. Oh, it's enormous. Yeah, like you have to do your own testing, because then how can you sell something that you haven't tested? Like there's a lot of people out there that probably haven't even tested what they're selling. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Of course you
They're
are.
an LS7 style head. They've been chopped up and got a bit of welding here and there, and I've been developed them for probably a good 2 years now. I've had a few funny moments. The car caught on fire. I ran a 10 with it on fire. I've had the bonnet fly open once when I was in a rush. So, but the most memorable time would be probably watching your heads win Bathurst. My heads have won Bathurst 4 times. That's pretty good.
George, you hit here!
Our bloody time. What time is it?
Oh, Nathan wanted to show me the machine.
Oh, so you had a good gas bag about the machine?
Yeah, and his race car.
Oh, yeah.
And his
Fantastic. That's right, so you're leaving an hour and a half to assemble the rest.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Alright, well this is the last of it. Just finishing it off. So the cam's in, the heads are on, the exhaust, everything back to the way it was. Just the final little bits and pieces. It's all cable tied and ready to go. Got all the water in it. Just got Marty inside. He's putting a tune in so that it starts and idles, because I need to warm it up, make sure fans, everything is operational, and then he'll take it out onto the dyno and see what it can do.
Okay, we fitted the heads and cam to this engine, this car, and due to the larger camshaft, it requires major modifications to the fuel in and the spark tables. We're able to reprogram the standard car's ECU with the EFI Live software we're using here. Because of the reversion of what happens when you put large camshafts or any camshafts into these, they get a lot of MAF reversion, which causes havoc to the tuning. So what we actually do is remove the MAF, and then it runs on the map sensor. So I'm just making changes to that now to get the mixtures right, and then we'll get the spark timing right, and we'll see how much power we can make.
Okay, after every car we take off the dyno, we make sure we always take them on a road test. We always double check everything that basically we've done on the dyno on the road to make sure that it behaves on the road like it's supposed to. Things like shift points, how hard the engine revs before it changes gears, and make sure that the gear changes are firm enough not to hurt the transmission, but not so firm that it's unpleasant to drive. We have to make sure that idle is nice and smooth, it's not hunting, it's not stalling, things like that. We take the laptop with us, log in all our fuel trims and making sure that they're still comparable with what we had on the dyno. You can sometimes get a bit of a variance out on the road due to the fan on the dyno may not be as efficient as what is out on the road, and sometimes it can be over efficient depending on where the fan's blowing and what sort of airbox is on the car and things like that. So there's lots of variables that we always like to double check on the road and make sure that everything's as good as it can be.